Well, hello there, everybody. Today I want to talk a little bit about the what's it called, the DC Universe animated original movies. Um, I stumbled across them. I saw many of those gifs or gifs or whatever on Tumblr of certain scenes of it, and I was aware that they are kind of a thing for a while now, but I never really came around checking them out. And at one point, I just got too curious about Assault on Arkham, and I checked this out, which was quite a while ago, and I really did enjoy that one. Um, However, I never really came around to check out the series as a whole. Now, I'm currently somewhere in the middle about it. The last one I saw was Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, part one and two. Yeah, and I was like, I guess it's a rather obvious thing to compare it to the Marvel Animated Universe, or no, sorry, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. My bad. Since whether they share certain elements in name, even so, I'm not really sure when which term was coined. I mean, they did this entire thing with the more adult movies for DC Comics for a while now. I mean, let's see. The first one, Doomsday, well, it came out in 2007. Now let me check when the Marvel animated. Oh, come on. I need to. Marvel Cinematic, I still can't say what it's called. The Marvel Cinematic Universe started with Iron Man in 2008. So I really can't tell if there is somebody trying to copy the other one or not, and when which term was coined. I don't really care. I'm here to compare them anyway. So one thing, of course, one thing is real life, and the other one is animation. So wow. One thing I particularly have a hard time with the animated universe is the inconsistency. It's really something that bothers me a lot. They don't. I mean, they share. They have very different aesthetics throughout the movies. We have. What are good examples to pin next to each other? I mean, for example, compare the design of the Martian Manhunter in Justice League: The New Frontier with basically all later appearances, or Batman looks extremely different in The Dark Knight Returns. So, and don't get me started on what's it called, the collection of small Batman movies, which I actually owned on DVD quite a while back, I believe. What's it called? Batman, something Superman, Batman. Nah, this is a collection of many Batman movies. Batman Gotham Knight, that's it. Batman Gotham Knight, where it's just a collection of many short stories which are somehow interconnected, but they have extremely different, extremely uncommon art styles, which is in itself a very interesting thing to see from an artistic point of view. However, to talk once again about Marvel, or about the. Sorry! It's really a bad thing to mix up Marvel and DC when you try to talk about one of them. The DC animated universe. Um, it's the consistency, the inconsistency in art style and design and everything. This won't be bother me too much. It's sometimes it's a little bit of a this one that some look more appealing to you than others. So you are a little bit biased against certain movies from the get-go simply because you don't like the art style. Then again, it's a very superficial thing, and I don't really want to discuss it. So some people probably like those episodes or those movies. I'm not the biggest fan of even more. What bothers me a lot more is the inconsistency in storyline. The fantastic thing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that they all feed into this one big meta arc where they all are connected with the stones and stuff, and even the ones that don't play directly into it, they are still part of this continuity. And I like this really a lot about the cinematic universe. And even so, there are still a few gaps. I mean, maybe I have to go back and check it out, but considering the end of the first Thor movie, I have no clue how he managed to be there in the Avengers movie. I really can't tell how he made it, because certain events at the do not spoil anything. Certain events at the end of the first Thor movie pretty much made it hard for him to be there. Let me just say, Thor, then it's Captain America, and then it's the Avengers. Yes, the end of the first Thor movie and the fact that he's just there in the Avengers movie is one big fat fucking plot hole. Maybe it gets explained in different media like computer games, comics, books, or whatever is supposed to fill the blanks between the movies, but I don't care about those. I only watch the movies, and if the movies come up with this really, really confusing plot holes, shame on you, Marvel, shame on you. But yeah, this I would go this far and say this is nitpicking on the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, back to DC. In DC, within the first few movies, the continuity is all over the place. So basically, we get to learn the origin story of Green Lantern 3 times. 3 times. They are all very similar. They all take the same elements, but they all are worked into very different continuities, which are mutually exclusive. You None of the there is one in Justice League New Frontier, there is one in Green Lantern First Flight, and there is also a third origin, which in the second Green Lantern movie, I believe Green Lantern Emerald Knight, which one Knight. So you have 3 times the same origin story, and it is all the same with him being in the space flight simulator, and then he gets carried away, and then he gets the ring, and yada yada yada. Not talking about any more details. This element is exactly identical in all 3 encounters, but the rest is none of those 3 is possible to take place in the same universe. Okay, DC, and I believe by now Marvel as well, has solved this kind of issue by coming up with the infinity universes and Earths and whatnot and blah blah blah. But nevertheless, the argument stays the same, that pretty much the continuity within the series is not given. If every of those movies takes place on one of the different Earths, in one of the different universes, then there is no continuity. Then it is a lot of stories which just happen to feature guys who look very similar and have kind of similar backstories. This is really like annoying for me, especially since sometimes there are certain movies who share continuity. What was it? Batman, Superman, Public Enemies shares a continuity with Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, if I'm not correct. I believe in Apocalypse they do reference events from the other movie. But there have been 2 movies in between, and one of them even with Batman. I probably picked the wrong title, because there's also a Justice League movie in between those 2. But it's like... Oh no, wait, it is? Oh yeah, it actually is. No, I was completely right. The Batman/Superman series is an ongoing continuity within this mess. But with many movies in between, which all share the same super title, DC Universe Animated Original Movies. Nevertheless, all the nagging, all the complaining aside, basically what I and everybody who wants to check the series out has to take away from this is you have to watch and evaluate each and every movie as its own entity. There is no chronological order. There is barely any continuity between the movies. They are all to be understood as standalones. And often enough, they kind of go this far to be not compatible at all, to have absolutely clashing canon. Really, you can only go there and evaluate each and every one, watch and enjoy each and every one as its own entity, and yeah, enjoy them for what they are. Because there have been some I really loved. There have been one I was really like, I don't like them. I mean, if you guys are interested, I probably could go through all the movies. This is like, hey, I have the next 24 vlogs covered, something like this. If you're interested, for me to do this in a vlog format, I could maybe also move it to A&Y Entertainment, but in this case, you have to wait for quite a while, since season 5 continued, and this will keep me, on the one hand, it will keep me busy, on the other hand, it will keep my spirit down, because by now this turned into some kind of grinding. I just have to say this. I'm not too enthusiastic that the show continued. For everybody who asks me, because people ask me often and a lot about it, like, I want to go into serious analysis, and they ask me about tips. I made this one video in which my first advice for everybody who wants to start out is don't. And I stand by this. And especially when it comes to episode reviews. Don't. Episodic reviews are the stupidest thing you can do. And with season 5, this was my basically my final approach to do this big collab thingy, which is taking a lot of work from me away to my respective collab partners. But nevertheless, I feel the blues, and I can only say, as somebody who has done it for only 3 seasons, episodic reviews are really, really a horrible thing to do to yourself, to the series, to the viewers. Don't do it. Don't do episodic reviews for a series. Well, this derailed. I just wanted to talk about the DC Universe thingy. Basically, final conclusion. I love it in general. I love the idea to create those on a maybe a little bit smaller budget, so it doesn't come into the big screen, but to produce those more adult themed movies with the characters we love from DC. So 2 thumbs up for that, DC. Continuing, I like it. Even so, I don't like every movie. Some of the movies I really, really dislike. I despise. But in general, I love the concept. I love most of the movies. Carry on. This is ANY saying bye-bye. Oh my god, I just Markipliered. Damn it, I need to... I checked him out recently. This is backfiring rather rapidly. So this is ANY saying see you soon.